Earth's diplomat smiled and exposed every alien species' weakness. Samantha Wells stood alone in her quarters on the massive space station. The metal walls felt cold and unfamiliar. Through the small window, she could see Jupiter's swirling storms. Below, this gas giant planet had become the meeting point between humans and aliens. It was far enough from Earth to make the aliens feel safe, but close enough for humans to reach. Samantha adjusted her blue uniform and checked her appearance one final time. Her brown hair was pulled back neatly, and her face showed no sign of the worry she felt inside. As Earth's first diplomat to the Galactic Council, everything she did would shape how aliens viewed all humans. "Ambassador Wells," a soft voice came through the speaker, "the Council is ready for Earth's presentation." "Thank you," she replied. "I'm on my way." The hallway outside her room curved gently, following the station's circular design. Samantha passed several aliens as she walked. Some looked like insects with many legs and large eyes. Others floated like clouds of colored gas inside special containers. One group had scales that changed colors as she walked by, shifting from green to a nervous yellow. None of them spoke to her. After 5 minutes of walking, Samantha reached the large double doors of the council chamber. 2 tall guards with blue skin and forearms each stood on either side. They stared at her with 3 eyes each, blinking in an unsettling pattern. "Earth representative," one guard said in a flat voice. "You may enter." The doors slid open silently, revealing a huge round room. In the center was a circular table with 20 seats. Most were already filled with aliens of different shapes and sizes. Some seats were strange. One was a tank of bubbling liquid, another was a heated rock platform. All conversation stopped when Samantha entered. She walked to the empty seat marked with Earth's symbol, a simple blue and green circle. The chair felt too tall, forcing her to climb up rather than sit smoothly. Samantha wondered if this was done on purpose to make her look awkward. "The Council recognizes Earth's representative, Ambassador Samantha Wells," announced a tall alien at what seemed to be the head of the table. This was Ambassador Dorn of the Praxian Empire, the most powerful group in the Council. He had gray skin that looked like stone, and a voice that rumbled like distant thunder. "Thank you, Ambassador Dorn," Samantha said clearly. "Earth is grateful for this opportunity to address the Galactic Council." She looked around the table, trying to make eye contact with each alien. Her training had covered all these species, but seeing them in person was very different from studying pictures. The Zyrtic representatives clicked their mouthparts nervously. They looked like giant ants with 4 arms and 2 legs. Their black eyes seemed to watch her every move. The Vaporans were clouds of purple gas inside floating glass containers. Small lights blinked inside their bodies when they communicated. The cracks were reptiles with scales that constantly shifted colors. Right now they were a deep orange that Samantha's briefing had told her meant suspicion. The Luminari were perhaps the strangest, crystal beings that glowed from within. They had no faces, just faceted surfaces that flashed with light patterns. "Earth is honored to join this gathering of advanced civilizations," Samantha continued. "We have much to learn from you all, but we also have unique perspectives to share." "What could your young species possibly teach us?" interrupted a Crax representative. His scales flashed a dismissive blue pattern. "Your people have barely left your own planet. You have no faster-than-light travel of your own. You discovered our monitoring post on your moon by accident." Samantha kept her voice calm. "Age does not always equal wisdom, respected Crax. Humans have overcome many challenges in our short history. We have united our planet after centuries of division. We have solved many environmental problems that once threatened our survival. Yet you still fight wars among yourselves," said a Vaporan, its lights pulsing rapidly. "Our records show 17 armed conflicts on your planet this year alone. We are not perfect," Samantha admitted, "but we are improving, and our diversity of thought has led to remarkable innovation." "Let us be direct," interrupted Ambassador Dorn. "Your petition to join the Galactic Council faces significant opposition. Many believe humans are too unpredictable, too aggressive to join our peaceful coalition. The luminary representative flashed brightly. When it spoke, the words came from a translator device. Your species evolved from predators. All council. Members evolved from herbivores or omnivores with peaceful social structures. This fundamental difference concerns us greatly. Samantha felt her heart sink. She had expected some resistance, but not this level of prejudice. The weeks of careful preparation and practiced speeches wouldn't work here. They had already decided against Earth. I understand your concerns, she said slowly. But judging an entire species by its evolutionary past seems short-sighted. Would you judge the Zyrtic only by their ancestor species that lived in hives without individual thought? Or the Luminari by their crystal formations before they developed consciousness? A murmur went around the table. Some aliens shifted uncomfortably. Furthermore, Samantha continued, gaining confidence, our predatory past gave us strengths that could benefit the Council. Humans are problem solvers. We see patterns others miss. We adapt quickly to new situations. Pretty words, said a Krax. Representative, scales now turning a doubtful yellow. But your species has a history of violence that cannot be ignored. Every species has aspects of their past they're not proud of, Samantha countered. The historical records we've studied show that the Praxian Empire once conquered 3 solar systems before adopting your current peaceful stance. Is that correct, Ambassador Dorn? The room went silent. Dorn's stone-like face showed no emotion, but his fingers tapped the table rapidly. Your research is thorough, he finally said, but irrelevant. We have evolved beyond our past mistakes. As have we, Samantha replied. Humans have made terrible errors. We've hurt each other and our planet. But we've learned from these mistakes. We've grown. She leaned forward, looking at each alien representative in turn. All we ask is the chance to prove ourselves as worthy partners in this galactic community. No, one spoke for several long moments. Then, the Luminari representative flashed a pattern of lights that the translator didn't immediately process. The human makes valid points, the Luminari finally said. Perhaps we have been too quick to judge based on biological origins rather than current actions. Ambassador Dorn looked displeased. This meeting was meant to be a formality before rejecting Earth's petition. Now you suggest we actually consider it? I suggest we follow our own laws of fair evaluation, the Luminari replied. Otherwise, what separates us from the primitive past we claim to have evolved beyond? Samantha felt a small flicker of hope. She had found at least one potential ally. Very well, Dorn said reluctantly. We will continue this discussion tomorrow after reviewing Earth's full application again. As the meeting ended and the aliens began to leave, Samantha allowed herself a small smile of satisfaction. Immediately, several aliens flinched back. The nearest Zuritic's antennae flattened against its head. The Vaporin's gas swirled in distress. Patterns. Even Dorn took a subtle step backward. Samantha quickly returned her face to a neutral expression, confused by their reaction. But she had seen something important, something she didn't yet understand. Somehow her simple human smile had frightened the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Earth's Diplomat smiled and exposed every alien species' weakness. Samantha returned to her quarters with her mind racing. The reaction to her smile had been strange and unexpected. All the aliens had shown clear signs of fear or discomfort. But why? A smile was one of the friendliest human expressions. She needed to understand what had happened. She tapped her communication device. Dr. Paul Mason, please. After a few seconds, a man's face appeared on the screen. Paul had been her friend since college and was now Earth's leading expert on alien biology and behavior. Samantha, how was the big meeting? Paul asked, his tired eyes showing he had waited up for her call despite the late hour on Earth. Complicated, she said. I need your help with something strange that happened. She explained the meeting and the alien's reaction to her smile. Paul listened carefully, occasionally typing notes on another screen. Can you show me exactly what you did? He asked when she finished. Samantha smiled the same way she had at the meeting, a simple, friendly expression. Paul's eyes widened. Of course, it makes perfect sense now. What does? Samantha asked, confused. Think about it from an evolutionary perspective, Paul explained. Humans evolved as predators. What's the last thing prey animals see before a predator attacks? Teeth. Samantha touched her mouth. You think they saw my smile as a threat display? Exactly. From our research, every species on the Council evolved from herbivores or omnivores that lived in groups for protection. None evolved from apex predators like humans. Samantha sat back, processing this information. So every time I tried to be friendly by smiling, you were unknowingly threatening them, Paul finished. It's like a wolf baring its teeth. This could explain their prejudice against us, Samantha realized. They're instinctively afraid. Not just smiles, Paul added. Think about our bodies. Forward-facing eyes are a predator trait. Our walking style, our hand movements, even our vocal patterns might trigger fear responses. Samantha thought about the meeting schedule. I have another session with them tomorrow. What should I do with this information? Paul considered this carefully. You have two choices. Hide your predator traits to make them comfortable or what? Or use them strategically, Paul said. Not to threaten, but to command respect. The next morning, Samantha prepared carefully for the second council meeting. She practiced expressions that didn't show her teeth. She moved more slowly and deliberately. She had studied how prey animals appeared non-threatening. As she entered the council chamber, she noticed the difference immediately. The aliens seemed more relaxed around her, though still cautious. Ambassador Wells. Dorn acknowledged her. We have reviewed Earth's petition again. There are still serious concerns about human unpredictability. Samantha nodded politely, keeping her face neutral. We understand those concerns. Humans are willing to accept any reasonable restrictions on our activities while we prove ourselves trustworthy. The meeting proceeded more smoothly than the previous day. The aliens spoke more openly, though their objections remained. They worried that humans would be aggressive, that Earth would expand too quickly, that humans couldn't be trusted with advanced technology. After 2 hours of discussion, it became clear they were going in circles. The council was divided, but the majority still opposed Earth's membership. Then a message alert sounded throughout the chamber. Urgent news, announced a Zerdic assistant who had entered the room. Void pirates have attacked the Luminary research outpost in the Cerulean system. The Luminary representative's crystal body flashed with patterns of distress. Our scientists, our children were at that outpost. The defense fleet is 3 days away, the assistant continued. By then it will be too late. The council erupted in worried conversations. Void pirates were brutal raiders who attacked isolated outposts, stealing technology and resources. They showed no mercy to their victims. Samantha stood up. Earth has a ship nearby. The room fell silent. What? Ambassador Dorn asked. The UES Horizon is mapping the outer planets in that system, Samantha explained. It's small but well-armed. It could reach the outpost in hours. Why would you help us? The Luminary representative asked, its light patterns showing confusion. We have given you no reason to risk your people. Samantha took a deep breath and made her decision. She smiled, deliberately showing her teeth. The aliens recoiled slightly, exactly as Paul had predicted. Because that's what humans do, she said, maintaining her smile. We protect. Yes, we evolved as predators. But predators defend their territory and their allies. If you accept our help, the Void Pirates will learn what happens when they threaten someone under human protection. The council members looked at each other uncertainly. Fear and hope mixed in their reactions. Finally, the Luminary representative flashed a pattern of acceptance. We would be grateful for Earth's assistance. Samantha nodded and activated her communication device. Captain Peter Garcia, this is Ambassador Wells. I have an emergency mission for you. Within minutes, the plan was set. The UES Horizon would change course immediately for the Luminary outpost. The Council provided all available information about Void pirate tactics and weaknesses. Your ship is very small, worried a Vaporan representative. The pirates will have at least 3 vessels. Size isn't everything, Samantha replied. Humans have a long history of the smaller force defeating the larger one through surprise and strategy. As the meeting ended, Ambassador Dorn approached Samantha privately. This is a dangerous gamble, Ambassador Wells. If your ship fails, Earth's petition will certainly be rejected. Samantha met his 3-eyed gaze steadily. And if we succeed? Then, the Council would need to reconsider its position, Dorn admitted reluctantly. We'll succeed, Samantha said confidently. For the next 8 hours, Samantha and the Council members waited tensely for news. The UES Horizon maintained communication silence as it approached the outpost, following standard Earth military protocol for surprise operations. Finally, Captain Garcia's voice came through the communication system. Ambassador Wells' mission accomplished. The Void pirates have been neutralized. 3 enemy ships disabled, crews captured. The outpost is secure with minimal damage. All Luminary scientists and their families are safe. The Council chamber erupted. In flashing lights, color changes, and the various sounds that represented relief and joy in the different alien languages. The Luminary representative approached Samantha, its crystal body glowing with bright blue light. How did your small ship defeat 3 pirate vessels? Captain Garcia used an old Earth tactic, Samantha explained. He hid behind a moon, then attacked the pirates from behind while they were focused on the outpost, the element of surprise. Go, Senator. Tactics, the Luminary observed. Its lights shifted to a pattern Samantha hadn't seen before. Perhaps what we feared about humans is exactly what makes you valuable allies. Samantha smiled again, but this time the Luminary didn't flinch as much. Ambassador Dorn cleared his throat. The Council will reconvene tomorrow to reconsider Earth's petition. Today's actions will be noted. As the aliens filed out of the chamber, Samantha thought about what Paul had said. Humans were different. Their predatory instincts made other species uncomfortable. But today, those same instincts had saved lives. Earth's path to acceptance wouldn't be easy, but they had found their place in the galactic community. Not despite their predatory nature, but because of it. The smile that had exposed the aliens' fear of humans might just become the symbol of their greatest strength. Earth's Diplomat smiled and exposed every alien species' weakness. 3 months had passed since the UES Horizon saved the Luminary Research Outpost. Earth had been granted provisional membership in the Galactic Council. Samantha now had a permanent office on the Jupiter station, and 5 more human diplomats had joined her team. Today, Samantha sat at her desk reviewing reports from Earth. Human trade with alien species had begun, carefully regulated but promising. Earth scientists were learning from alien technology, while alien researchers studied human art and culture with fascination. Her communication device chimed. Ambassador Wells, the emergency council session begins in 10 minutes. Her assistant's voice reminded her. Thank you, Kate, Samantha replied. What's the latest on the situation? The Praxian colony on Terox 4 is still under blockade. No communication in or out for the past 17 hours. Samantha frowned. The Krax Empire had suddenly moved warships to surround the small Praxian mining colony yesterday. No one knew why. The Krax and Praxians had been at peace for over a century. When Samantha entered the council chamber, the tension was thick. Ambassador Dorn stood tall, his stone-like face showing rare emotion as he confronted the Krax representative. This act of aggression cannot stand, Dorn's voice boomed. Remove your ships immediately or face the consequences. The Krax representative's scales rippled with angry red patterns. We have evidence that your colony is developing forbidden weapons. Our blockade will remain until inspectors verify your activities. There are no weapon factories on Terox 4, Dorn insisted. It is a simple mining operation with 3,000 civilians, including families with children. The argument continued as other council members tried to calm both sides. Samantha listened carefully, noting that neither the Praxians nor the cracks seemed willing to back down. The situation could easily turn into the first interstellar war in over a century. During a brief recess, Samantha approached Ambassador Dorn in a private corner of the chamber. "Ambassador, may I speak freely?" she asked. Dorn nodded stiffly. "Earth has remained neutral so far, Ambassador Wells. A wise choice for a new member." "I'm not here to take sides," Samantha said, "but to offer a solution. Let humans inspect the colony." Dorn's three eyes blinked in surprise. "You? We have no history with either the Praxians or the cracks. We have no reason to lie about what we find. That makes us truly neutral inspectors." "The cracks would never agree. Let me handle that," Samantha interrupted gently. "But I need to know, is there anything on that colony that we might find problematic?" Dorn hesitated. "There is no weapons factory," he said firmly, "but there is a research facility studying ancient artifacts found in the mines. Some have unusual energy signatures that could be misinterpreted as weapon components." Samantha nodded. "Thank you for your honesty. That's exactly what I needed to know." When the council reconvened, Samantha asked to address the group. All eyes turned to her as she moved to the center of the chamber. "The Earth delegation proposes a solution," she announced. "Let a small team of human inspectors visit the colony. We will determine if any forbidden activities are taking place and report our findings to the full council." The cracks representatives' scales flashed with doubt. "Why should we trust humans with this task? You are too new to understand the complexities of our history." Samantha smiled, deliberately showing her teeth. After months of contact, most council members had become less reactive to this expression, but it still commanded attention. "That's exactly why we're perfect for this job," she said. "We have no old prejudices, no past conflicts with either side, and—" She paused. "Humans have particularly keen eyes for deception. It's part of our predatory heritage." The chamber went quiet. Everyone knew about human predatory traits now. It had become something of an open secret that humans could often sense things other species missed. "I have a team ready to depart within the hour," Samantha continued. "Your blockade remains in place until we report back. If we find weapons, the council can take appropriate action. If we don't, the blockade ends immediately." The cracks representatives' scales shifted through several color patterns as he thought. Finally he said, "We agree to this inspection." All eyes turned to Ambassador Dorn. After a long moment he nodded. "The Praxian Empire also agrees. We have nothing to hide." 6 hours later, a small human ship approached the blockade around Terox 4. Samantha had selected Dr. Paul Mason to lead the inspection team, along with 3 military officers with scientific backgrounds. The cracks' ships allowed them to pass but followed closely. On the planet's surface, Praxian officials welcomed them nervously. "We will show you everything," the colony administrator promised. "But please hurry. Our food supplies are limited under this blockade." Paul's team worked quickly and thoroughly. They inspected the mines, the processing facilities, the research labs, and the living quarters. They took readings with both human and alien detection devices. "What have you found in these mines that's so interesting?" Paul asked the lead researcher while examining the artifact storage room. The researcher showed him several strange crystalline objects that glowed with inner light. "We believe these are remnants of an ancient civilization that once inhabited this planet. They contain energy patterns we've never seen before." Paul studied the readings carefully. "These energy signatures, I can see why they might be confused with weapon components. But they're definitely not artificial. These are organic in origin." After 4 hours of inspection, Paul's team returned to their ship and prepared their report. Samantha received it while waiting anxiously in the council chamber. "Dr. Mason confirms there are no weapons or weapon components on Terox 4, she announced to the waiting council members. They found a legitimate research operation studying unusual artifacts with unique energy signatures. These signatures were likely what appeared on cracks scans. She displayed the detailed readings on the large chamber screen. "As you can see, these are organic energy patterns, not artificial weapon signatures." The cracks representative studied the data, his scales gradually shifting from doubtful orange to embarrassed yellow. It seems we misinterpreted our sensor readings. An understandable mistake, Samantha said diplomatically. The energy patterns are unusual, but now that we know what they are, perhaps crack scientists might join the research. These artifacts could benefit all council species. The suggestion of scientific cooperation provided the cracks with a dignified way to end the blockade. Within hours, the warships began to withdraw. A potential war had been averted. Later that evening, Ambassador Dorn visited Samantha in her office. "You handled that situation with remarkable skill," he admitted. "The Council has been managing disputes for centuries, yet we nearly fell into war today." "Sometimes a fresh perspective helps," Samantha replied modestly. "It's more than that," Dorn said. "When you suggested human inspectors, you knew we would all agree. You used our perception of humans as predators who can detect deception to your advantage." Samantha smiled slightly. "I simply offered the right solution at the right time." Dorn's three eyes studied her carefully. "I'm beginning to understand why humans may become very influential in galactic politics. You are becoming quite adept at using your unique traits to shape situations." After Dorn left, Samantha contacted Earth to report on the day's events. United Nations Secretary was pleased. "From feared newcomers to trusted mediators in just 3 months," he said. "You've done remarkable work, Ambassador." Samantha thought about how quickly things had changed. What had started as a disadvantage, the aliens' fear of human predatory traits, had become a source of influence. Humans were now seen as fair, direct, and uniquely skilled at cutting through deception. "We've found our place in the Council," she replied. "Not despite our differences, but because of them." As she looked out her window at the massive space station and the swirling storms of Jupiter beyond, Samantha wondered what other advantages humans might discover as they ventured further into the galactic community. Their journey was just beginning. Earth's Diplomat smiled and exposed every alien species' weakness. 1 year had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council. In that time, humans had earned a unique reputation. They were known as excellent mediators in disputes between other species. When difficult truths needed to be uncovered, humans were often asked to help. Their predatory instincts, once feared, were now valued. Samantha Wells had been promoted to Human High Ambassador. Today, she sat in her expanded office on the Jupiter station, meeting with her senior team. "The trade agreement with the Luminari is working well," reported Jack Rivera, the economic advisor. "They're fascinated by our art and music. In exchange, they've provided crystal technology that's improving our medical scanners." "The cultural exchange program has 500 alien students now studying on Earth," added Maria Chen, the cultural liaison. "And 300 human students learning on various alien worlds." Samantha nodded, pleased with the progress. "Any problems to report?" The team members looked at each other. Finally, Paul Mason spoke up. He had been appointed as the science advisor after his successful handling of the Terox 4 inspection. "There's something strange happening with the Vaporans," Paul said. "They've canceled 3 scientific conferences in the past month. Their representatives have been missing council meetings." "Any explanation?" Samantha asked, concerned. "None," Paul replied. "When questioned, they claim internal matters require their attention." "The Vaporans are usually the most social species," Samantha mused. "This behavior is very unusual." Just then, Samantha's communication device chimed with an urgent message. The Vaporan ambassador requested an immediate private meeting. "Speak of the devils," Samantha said. "I'll meet with him now. Continue without me." When the Vaporan ambassador entered her office, Samantha immediately noticed something wrong. The purple gas inside his containment unit swirled in distress patterns she had learned to recognize. The blinking lights that formed part of Vaporan communication pulsed rapidly. "Hi, Ambassador Wells," the Vaporan's mechanical translator voiced. "I come to you in desperation." "What's wrong, Ambassador Zor?" Samantha asked, gesturing for him to sit opposite her. "I must speak in absolute confidence," Zor said. "What I am about to tell you violates Vaporan law." Samantha nodded gravely. You have my word. Nothing leaves this room without your permission. The Vaporin's gas swirled more slowly, gathering courage. My species is dying, he finally said. Samantha leaned forward. Dying? How? A disease is spreading through our gas clouds, Zor explained. It causes our conscious elements to dissipate. Over 50,000 Vaporins have already dissolved into base particles. Why keep this secret? Samantha asked. The council would help you. Our leaders fear losing status, Zor admitted. The Vaporins have always prided themselves on our advanced medical science. To admit we cannot cure our own disease would be humiliating. Pride isn't worth extinction, Samantha said firmly. I agree, Zor replied. That is why I have come to you. Humans have proven themselves both trustworthy and uniquely perceptive. Our scientists have failed to find the source of this disease. Perhaps humans, with their different way of seeing problems, might succeed where we have failed. Samantha thought quickly. This was both a crisis and an opportunity. If humans could help the Vaporins, it would cement Earth's position in the galactic community. I'll help on one condition, she said. I need to bring a small team of our best medical researchers. We'll keep the matter private, but I can't do this alone. After a long pause, Zor agreed. Our homeworld awaits your help. 2 days later, Samantha led a small team to the Vaporin homeworld. It was a gas giant with floating cities made of special materials that could withstand the harsh atmosphere. The cities were connected by energy bridges that glowed with beautiful colors against the swirling purple and blue background of the planet. Dr. Susan Lee, Earth's leading expert on alien biology, headed the medical team. As they toured the main hospital, she studied the affected Vaporins through special viewing equipment. Their molecular structure is breaking down, she observed. But I don't see signs of a biological pathogen. This looks more like contamination. For 3 days, the human team worked alongside Vaporin scientists. They tested air samples, studied patient records, and examined the affected areas of the floating cities. Susan became increasingly convinced they were looking for the wrong thing. This isn't a disease, she told Samantha privately. It's poisoning. Something in their environment has changed. On the 4th day, as they were inspecting one of the newer floating cities, Samantha noticed something. When was this city built? She asked their Vaporin guide. Just 3 years ago, the guide replied. It's our newest and most advanced design. Samantha looked at Susan. And when did the first cases appear? About 2.5 years ago, Susan confirmed, catching Samantha's train of thought. Samantha ran her hand along a wall made of shiny blue material. What is this construction material? I haven't seen it in the older cities. It's a new alloy, the guide explained proudly. Much stronger than our traditional building materials. It allows us to expand our cities more quickly. Susan took readings with her scanner. This alloy is releasing trace particles into the air. They're so small that Vaporin instruments might miss them. Further investigation confirmed their suspicion. The new building material was slowly releasing toxic particles. The particles were harmless to solid beings like humans, but deadly to gaseous life forms like the Vaporins. The newest cities had the highest concentration of the particles and the most cases of the disease. When they presented their findings to the Vaporin leadership, the initial reaction was disbelief, then dismay. We have poisoned ourselves, the Vaporin Prime Minister said, his gas cloud dimming with sorrow. In our rush to expand, we failed to properly test the new alloy with gaseous life forms. The good news is that it's fixable, Susan explained. The affected cities can be coated with a neutralizing agent. The building material can be replaced over time. And those already affected? Asked the Prime Minister. The damage can be reversed in early cases, Susan said. For advanced cases, we've developed a treatment that should stabilize their condition until they can heal naturally. The relief among the Vaporin leaders was visible in the brightening of their gas clouds. The Prime Minister turned to Samantha. How can we ever repay you for this? He asked. Samantha smiled, noticing that none of the Vaporins flinched at her expression anymore. They had grown used to human facial expressions. Just remember that sometimes an outside perspective helps, she said. No species, no matter how advanced, can see all angles of a problem. As Samantha's team prepared to return to the Jupiter station, news of their success had already spread throughout the Vaporan cities. Crowds of floating gas clouds gathered to see them off, flashing light patterns of gratitude and respect. "You realize what this means," Paul said quietly to Samantha as they boarded their ship. "The Vaporans were one of the most medically advanced species in the Council. Now they owe their survival to humans." Samantha nodded. "Our position in the galactic community just got a lot stronger." Back on the Jupiter station, Ambassador Dorn was waiting for their return. "Word travels fast," he said. "The Vaporan Prime Minister has already addressed the Council about your discovery." "I hope they weren't too embarrassed," Samantha replied. "On the contrary," Dorn said. "They spoke of human perception with great admiration. It seems your predatory ability to notice what others miss has saved an entire species." As Samantha walked to her office, she thought about how far humans had come. The same traits that had once made aliens fear them now made them valued and respected members of the galactic community. "Sometimes," she murmured to herself, "your greatest weakness can become your greatest strength." Earth's Diplomat smiled and exposed. Every alien species' weakness. 5 years had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council. Humans were now fully integrated into galactic society. Earth ships traveled between the stars using technology shared by friendly alien species. Human diplomats worked on dozens of alien worlds. Alien visitors had become a common sight in major Earth cities. High Ambassador Samantha Wells stood at the large window in her office on the Jupiter station. She had just received troubling news from the outer reaches of known space. Strange ships had been detected moving toward Council territory. They didn't respond to any communication attempts. They simply kept coming, in a straight line toward the populated systems. Samantha's door chimed. "Enter," she called. Ambassador Dorn walked in looking more serious than usual. Over the years, he had become one of Samantha's closest allies on the Council. "You've heard about the unknown ships?" he asked without greeting. "Just got the report," Samantha confirmed. 17 vessels of unusual design, no response to communication, estimated to reach the Zertic colony in the Helios system within 2 weeks. "The Council is meeting in 1 hour, Dorn said. "Most representatives believe they are simply new traders from beyond known space." "But you don't," Samantha observed. Dorn's 3 eyes blinked slowly. "No. Something feels wrong. But I cannot explain why." Samantha had learned to trust Dorn's instincts. "I'll have our analysts review all the data before the meeting. Maybe we'll spot something." When the emergency council session began, representatives from all 27 member species gathered in the main chamber. The mysterious ships were the only topic of discussion. "They follow a perfect straight line," noted the Zertic representative, his antennae twitching nervously. "No deviations, even to avoid stellar debris fields. Their design matches no known species," added a luminary, its crystal body flashing with scholarly interest. "The energy readings are unusual, very efficient, but strange. I propose we send a greeting fleet," suggested the Vaporan Prime Minister. "A peaceful first contact is always the best approach." Most council members nodded in agreement. Samantha exchanged glances with Dorn. Both felt uneasy about this plan. "May I speak?" Samantha asked, rising from her seat. "The council recognizes High Ambassador Wells," announced the council leader. Samantha moved to the center of the chamber. "The data from our long-range scans troubles me," she began. "These ships have made no attempt to avoid detection. They follow a direct path toward populated systems. They ignore all attempts at communication." "What are you suggesting, Ambassador?" asked the Vaporan Prime Minister. "On Earth we have a saying, if it looks like a predator and acts like a predator, it probably is a predator." The chamber went quiet. The word predator still carried special meaning when spoken by a human. "These ships are behaving like hunters tracking prey," Samantha continued. "I recommend caution. Yes, send ships to meet them, but send warships, not a greeting party." Debate erupted immediately. Many council members opposed what they saw as an aggressive response. Others supported Samantha's caution. After hours of discussion, a compromise was reached. A mixed fleet would be sent, diplomatic vessels protected by warships that would remain at a distance unless needed. 1 week later, the Council's contact fleet approached the mysterious vessels near an uninhabited star system. Samantha watched the live feed from the Jupiter Station's command center, along with many Council representatives. The alien ships were unlike anything seen before. They were black, with strange angles that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They moved in perfect formation like pieces of a single machine. "Transmission from First Contact Team," announced a technician. "They're sending standard greeting messages on all frequencies." On the large screen, they watched as the Council's diplomatic ships approached the lead alien vessel. Minutes passed with no response from the mysterious ships. Then, without warning, the alien vessels fired. Bright energy beams cut through 3 Council diplomatic ships before anyone could react. No warning, no demands, no communication at all. The Council warships moved to engage, but they were clearly outmatched. The alien weapons cut through their shields as if they weren't there. Within minutes, half the Council fleet was destroyed. The survivors retreated, pursued by several alien vessels. The command center erupted in panic. Council members who had never experienced war were shocked by the sudden violence. "Silence!" Samantha shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. All eyes turned to her. "We need to act now," she said firmly. "Those ships will reach the Zyrtec colony in less than a week. Millions of civilians are in danger." "What can we do?" asked the Zyrtec representative, his voice shaking. "Their weapons cut through our best defenses." Samantha turned to Dorn. "The Praxian military fleet is the largest in the Council. How quickly can it reach the Helios system?" 3 days, perhaps 4, Dorn replied. "But even our ships may not be enough." "Earth will send every available warship," Samantha said. "And I have another idea." Over the next 2 days, Samantha worked with military leaders from all Council species. The unknown aliens, now called the Void Hunters because of their black ships, continued their straight-line approach toward the Helios system. They destroyed any ship that came near them. They still made no attempts to communicate. Samantha's plan was risky. It relied on something no alien species would have thought of, a trap based on predator psychology. She had studied the Void Hunters' behavior and recognized something familiar. "They act like ambush predators," she explained to the Council War Committee. "They hide their true strength until they attack. They rely on surprise and overwhelming force. But they have a weakness." 4 days later, as the Void Hunters approached the Helios system, they encountered what appeared to be a small, disorganized group of refugee ships fleeing the colony. Easy targets. The Void Hunters changed formation for the first time, spreading out to catch the fleeing ships. They moved away from their tight formation, each vessel pursuing different targets. That was when the trap was sprung. Hidden behind the system's moons and larger asteroids, the combined fleet of Earth and Praxian warships attacked. They had been waiting, engines cold, sensors passive, using the natural bodies of the system to mask their presence, just as human hunters had hidden downwind from their prey for thousands of years. The battle was fierce but quick. Separated from each other, the Void Hunter ships were vulnerable. Within hours, the alien threat had been eliminated. In the aftermath, examination of the destroyed Void Hunter ships revealed disturbing facts. They were controlled by advanced AI systems programmed to harvest resources, including living beings, from conquered worlds. They had destroyed dozens of civilizations beyond Council space. 1 month later, at a special Council session, Samantha stood before representatives of all member species. "The threat has been defeated," she said, "but we must remain vigilant. We've sent long-range scouts beyond our borders to ensure no more Void Hunters are coming." The Council leader stepped forward. "High Ambassador Wells, the Council wishes to formally thank humanity for their leadership in this crisis. Your understanding of predator psychology saved countless lives." "We simply did what humans have always done," Samantha replied with a smile. "We protected our friends." No one flinched at her smile now. Instead, the chamber filled with the various sounds and displays that represented applause in the different alien languages. Later, as Samantha walked with Dorn through the station's garden area, he made an observation. "It's remarkable," he said. "When humans first came to the council, we feared you because you were predators. Now we value you for the same reason." Samantha looked out at the stars visible through the garden's dome. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson in all of this. Our differences aren't weaknesses to be feared or overcome. They're strengths to be shared. A very human way of looking at things, Dorn noted. "Yes," Samantha agreed with a smile. "Very human indeed."